Chαῖρε, φίλε, and welcome. Today we are going to be taking a look at John chapter 3, verses 14 and 15 halfway through this page. And yes, we are in fact back in this old location, and we will be for, well, I don't know, I haven't recorded the videos yet, so we'll find out. Here is our Greek rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through this text. Let's go ahead and get started. Kai kathos, mou seis, hupsosen ton ophin en te eremoi, hutos hupsothenai de ton huiantu anthropou. Hina pas ho pisteuon en autoi eche zoen ionion. Said that last one too slow, but oh well. So, very first word, coordinating conjunction. Very nice to have that. We move on to kathos. Kathos is, I think this is a combination of the words kata and hos. The last alpha drops out, and then the tau turns into a theta, and this just means even as, or just as. Got Mouses. I think we've actually seen this before once, but this is Moses, and his name, since it's not native to Greek, they've kind of adopted it in there. And I don't know why we've got the diaeresis right there, since there isn't really a diphthong that is omega, upsilon. It's pretty weird. Maybe it's to indicate that there's a different way that you're supposed to sound it out. Wondering, would that be a mater in Hebrew? I don't know. So, I'm clueless on that. Eta sigma is just the nominative singular form of that. He is our subject, Moses. Hupsosen, got epsilon nu right there as our ending, so that's going to be a third person singular. Let's take a look at this omega right there. Normally we wouldn't see an omega as the connecting vowel for the stem and the personal ending. We've also got it in the second time that we see this word right there, which makes me want to say that it is subjunctive, but I don't think it is. I think that it's just a normal indicative. I could be wrong. That's something that I didn't look up. So if it is, I will leave a note here to clear that up. But for the moment, that sigma right there with the epsilon nu as your ending tells us that this is going to be a aorist tense. It is active, and it is indicative, and it means lifted up, hupo, or raised up. Up, ton, ophin, and we've got a preposition right there. So ton is clearly accusative singular masculine. And iota nu right there from this third declension noun is also going to be accusative singular masculine. We don't need the C's, I keep forgetting about that. This means the serpent. And I don't think there's a specific type of serpent meant here, but since I'm back here, I don't have my expansive New Testament Greek dictionary with me, so I can't really test that out. And so look at my shelf. I don't have my, oh no, I do. Oh well. Anyway, serpent in plus the dative here because the sub iota is right here. Eremo we know is feminine because of that eta. Hutos is very similar to kathos right here. So we know that this can't be part of the prepositional phrase, so the comma is placed correctly. Plus dative singular feminine. In the desert or wilderness. Hutos. Thus. So this is roughly equivalent in to the Latin word like ita or itaque, and thus. So there's no form of kai in there. So maybe it's a little bit of a different meaning than we would have with itaque. Thus, hupsothenai, that theta right there with the eta off of hupso tells us that this is going to be an aorist passive. The new alpha iota is our infinitive ending. So before we deal with that, we should actually find the proper verb in here. Moving just ahead, we see dei with this epsilon iota right there. And this one is going to be our main verb for this clause. It is one that almost exclusively, not completely exclusively, but it appears in the third person most of the time. So third person singular present tense, active and indicative. It means it is necessary. And normally the way that this word is referred to, it's the, what is it? The divine necessity, I think, or divine obligation, something like that. There's some term that theologians use specifically for this word in the Gospels. All right, so dei, it is necessary for infinitive. Theta, eta, nu, alpha, iota is going to be aorist, active. Nope, not active. This is a normal word. It's not a deponent, so this is going to be middle passive infinitive. And we'll figure out which of those two as we get the rest of the context of the sentence. Looking ahead, ton huion. Got accusative singular there, masculine. This is going to be the subject of our indirect statement, if you will, with hupso thenai as its verb. And then that would mean that it's going to be passive in its meaning. So it wouldn't make much sense for the Son of Man to lift up for himself no direct object. If there were another accusative word in here, then we could read this as a middle word. Middle. Am I thinking? No, I think my brain has crashed here. I now don't remember if the sixth principal part. No, it can't. Oh well. Mess up there. This thing can't even be middle. I really need to go through my forms more often. Sorry, so only passive as our option. So it is necessary for, really running out of space here, the Son to be raised. This is aorist, we know, once. To anthropou, omicron, upsilon in both of those. It's genitive, singular, masculine, Son of the Man as his normal title. So that's verse 14, barring stupid, forgetful mistakes on my part. Moving on to verse 15. We have a hina clause here, which means that we have probably a purpose clause, but let's look ahead to our verb. Pas, nope. Ho pisteu, and that is a form of a verb, but it's a participle. En is a preposition. Toi, okay. Now, with that sub iota, it almost looks like this could be part of our prepositional phrase, but this is from the verb echo. And eta sub iota is a verbal ending, and so it's not going to be a noun. Prepositional phrase has to end here, and this is our verb. Now we have two different options for this one. Eta sub iota is used for the second person singular. I think it's middle passive for real here, and it is subjunctive and present tense. And the other option is third person singular. This is present active subjunctive. Really crowding in on Zoe. So this could mean either hina, you have, subjunctive, you may have, or hina, he may have, or she may have, or it may have. In order to figure that out, we need more context. So hina, introducing a subjunctive clause, could expect either of these. But let's figure it out. Pas is from pas, pas upon. So this one is going to be nominative, singular, masculine. That essentially already rules out the second person, but let's keep going. Every one or thing. Ho pisteuon. Ho there is nominative, singular, masculine. Pisteuon with this omega nu right there is also nominative, singular, masculine. Since there's no sigma right there or nothing else, we know that this is going to be off of the present stem. It is active, and it is a participle. So every, and I'm going to stick to the word one, believing. In autoi, it's going to be plus dative, omega iota right there. It's going to have to refer back to something. We have a man right here. We have the sun right there. We have Moses right there. You have the serpent. desert doesn't count because desert is feminine. So Moses doesn't make any sense because it's way too far away. Man doesn't make sense because it's a possessive genitive. Huion right there is our best option. So autoi pointing back to huion, singular, masculine, in him. So we got him right there, and an everyone singular nominative masculine. Second person doesn't make sense in order that everyone you believing you have. That's a bit odd. So crossing that one out, or sorry, you be had or have for yourself because middle or passive. So third person singular present active subjunctive is the best option in order that, oh gosh, in order that everyone believing in him may have zoing, eta nu right there. It's going to be accusative, singular, and feminine, life. And then the last word we have to figure out for our video today is ionion. We've got an omicron nu right there, which normally would indicate to us that this is a masculine singular accusative. However, this is an adjective, and we've already got an accusative right there. We don't want a second object. There's no coordinating conjunction. It wouldn't make much sense to have he may have life, comma, eternal, or eternity, since it would be acting substantively. What we've actually got going on here is ionion is a two-termination adjective, so it can only appear in the masculine form for masculine and feminine, or the neuter form for neuter. So this is going to be same thing as that, but two termination. Life eternal, so on and so forth. And there we go. That's 14 through 15. Let's go ahead and take a look at it in its own context. And even as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, thus it is necessary for the Son of the Man to be raised once, in order that everyone believing, or the everyone believing in him may have life eternal. So far, so good. Now, from verse 1. We're getting there, people. We're almost done with this paragraph. But there was a man of the Pharisees, Nicodemus, named to him, of leaders of the Jews. This one came to him at night, and he said to him, Rabbi, we know that you have come from God, a teacher, for no one is able to do these signs which you yourself do, unless the God is with him. Jesus answered and said to him, Truly, truly, I say to you, unless someone has not been born. I'm confused here. Oh, sorry. Reading the wrong ones. This one goes with if, has been born, and goes with unless. Unless someone has been born again or from above, he is not able to see the kingdom of God. Then Nicodemus says to him, How is a man able to be born once, being old? Surely he is not able in the womb of the mother of him a second time to enter once, and to be born once. Jesus answered, Truly, truly, I say to you, unless someone has been born from water and spirit, he is not able to come into the kingdom of the God. Baptismal theology there. The having been born from the flesh is flesh, and the having been born from the spirit is spirit. Don't wonder once that I said to you, it is necessary for you all to have been born from above, or from again. The Spirit blows where it wishes, and the sound of it you hear, but do not know from where it comes and where it goes. Thus is all or every one having been born from the Spirit. Nicodemus answered and said to him, How are these able to happen? Jesus answered and said to him, You are the teacher of Israel, and you do not know these? Truly, truly, I say to you that what we know we say, and what we have seen we witnessed, and our witness you do not receive. If I said earthly things to you, and you will... Oops. There's no sigma right there, so will is wrong. Do not believe. I see a sigma right there. How, if I said to you the heavenly things, will you believe? I don't know why I wrote that in. That's weird. And no one has ascended into the heaven unless the having from heaven come down, the Son of the Man. And even as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, thus it is necessary for the Son of the Man to be raised once, in order that everyone believing in him may have life eternal. Well, that took forever. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope taking a look at this has been helpful for you, and I hope you have a very good day. Farewell. Hey, not asleep yet? That's okay. I've got tons of other videos that are equally sleep-inducing. Check them out. Alternatively, you could take a look at this video over here.